Hi, Tam here. So just the other day, a doctor friend of mine told me about his interaction with a lotto winner, a patient that had just won the lotto. And so, that made me think about my own interaction that I had with another patient that was a fresh lotto winner. So at that time, I was working as an emergency doctor, but I was rotating in the urology department. Urology, not neurology, right? So I was supposed to be doing just a 2 month rotation, and I ended up being a 1 year resident in urology. It was very exciting. So anyway, on the one particular day, I was doing the rounds with one of my professors of urology, And just a bit of background on the hospital I was in. So it's an academic hospital, it's a public hospital. But in that hospital, there was a private section. So the hospital was divided into the academic part, the public hospital part, and there was a private section in the same hospital, the private ward. And the difference between the private ward, the private section of the hospital, the private hospital, and the public section, it was black and white. The private hospital, the private section had beautiful mahogany furniture, private rooms, hotel type of service for the patients. It was wonderful. And the urologist would see their patients both in the private section and in the public section. It's in the same hospital. So on that particular day, on that Friday morning, we were doing our urology rounds, and one of the nurses in the private ward calls us. So she calls and she says, your patient has arrived, he's in the ward and is waiting for you. In fact, he demands to see you now, at once. So the patient, it was a 34, 35, 36-year-old, mid-30s, a young patient who had suffered a car accident with multiple pelvic fractures, which ended up damaging his urethra. So he had some urethral strictures that needed repair. The guy was unemployed. He had no financial resources, unfortunately. He was living with his mother. He had seen my professor, right? And surgery had been planned to be done 4 to 5 months from now. So this guy had come to the prof several times at his private practice, at his private rooms, and had asked that, I can't wait 4 or 5 months, I need the surgery now. And from what the prof was telling me, he had bothered him. Well, I'm hesitating to say bother because you've got a serious problem. So, let's say he had gone to him several times, saying that I can't wait 4 to 5 months, I need the surgery now. And it had been explained to him that there was a long waiting list of surgical procedures, and this was not an emergency. For now, he was okay. I think he was having a suprapubic catheter, and so for now, he was okay to wait for the 4 to 5 months. Unfortunately, that's the nature of the public health system. So that was the background story. So the nurse calls the prof and tells him, look, Mr. So-and-so is there, he's checked into the ward, into the private ward, is in bed number, let's say, bed number 6. And he is demanding to see you at once. So the prof was livid, quite upset. And he said, he was on the phone like, but I told this guy. So he's speaking to the nurse. He's telling the nurse, but I told this guy time and again that, he has to wait. It's going to be in 4 to 5 months. There's nothing I can do about this. Tell him to leave. Why is he in the private ward? He's got no money. He needs to. Why did you admit him? And he needs to leave. He can't afford to be there. He can't afford to have surgery tomorrow. I mean, So the nurse says, "Doc, please come." So when a nurse says that, it's basically the end of the conversation. You have to come, right? Because you don't know what's going on. So anyway, so we're walking there, the both of us, and the prof is mumbling and going off on a rant to say, but this guy, it's like the fifth time I've explained to him that he has to wait. He's on a waiting list. It's an elective surgery. He doesn't have any money. Why is he going into the private wards? This is unbelievable. This guy, he must be thick in his head, So he's going on and on and on, and you're walking for a good 5 minutes until we get there. We arrive there, so the prof is still a bit emotional about the whole thing, and he says, "Where is he? Why, how did you admit him?" And the nurse says, "No, he's checked in." And basically, and the prof says, "What do you mean he's checked in?" So this conversation is happening away from bed number 6, where, in fact, none of the patients in the ward can hear. It's by the side, on the outside, right? So the nurse says, "Yeah, so he's checked in, and he says he's here for surgery, and that's why he wants to see you." And the prof says, "But what do you mean he's checked in? This is not a hotel. Right? This is not a hotel where you check yourself in for surgery. No. There's only 2 ways you can be admitted in a hospital. So what are you talking about? He's checked in. You can't be checking in." So he says, "Yeah, but he said that it's been arranged with you and he wants to see you now for his surgery." So the prof is, okay. So he goes to his bed. He's quite emotional. He arrives in the room. Patient is lying there comfortably in bed, and let's call him Mr. Soliman, right? So Mr. Soliman is lying comfortably in bed, and the prof goes in there. We both go in, and the first thing he says before, "Hello, how are you doing? What's going on?" He says, "What are you doing here? I've explained that to you 100 times. You can't be here. This is a private ward. You're not on any medical program. How are you going to pay for this? You can't be here. I told you. I've given you an appointment in 4 months so that we can plan for surgery then." And then the nurse, listening to that, looks at the prof and says, "Prof, can I speak to you?" So he says, "Okay." So we go back out, the both of us. Again, so we go away from the ward, actually on the outside, so that no patient can hear. And the nurse wants to explain something, and prof goes again and says, "But why did you admit him here?" So he looks at me and he says, "Can you believe this, man? What is she talking about? Is it a hotel? Do we check ourselves in?" And I say, "Certainly not, prof, no." He said, "But this is unbelievable. Come on, The nurse lets him vent a bit and then says, "There's a situation. Mr. Soliman just won the lottery. He's got the money. And that's why he's come here." So me, I'm like, "Oh, wow." And prof is like, "What do you mean he's won the lottery?" I said, exactly that. He's won the lottery. Apparently, he's won about $1 million. Just under $1 million. It's like 960 something thousand dollars. So prof is like, "Really?" I said, "Yes, definitely. He's won about $1 million. And prof looks at me and is like, "That's unbelievable." I say, "Yeah, that's wonderful for him, So anyway, so that changes everything. So prof comes down immediately and goes back into the patient's room. he says, Mr. Suleiman, sorry about the outburst earlier on. There was a logistical problem. But yes, I'm all ears now. What can I do for you? So Mr. Suleiman, very comfortable in bed, says, hey, hi doc, so I'm here for my surgery, I'd like to have it done tomorrow. Today, if you could. Prof looks at him and says, yes, I understand, but there's some logistical thing that needs to happen before surgery. We can't do it today because we need to prep you first, and then I haven't booked the OR today. Tomorrow being Saturday, we can't really do an elective on Saturdays and Sundays because the operating rooms are going to be booked for emergencies, We can plan this for Monday. So Mr. Suleiman says, Monday's perfect, I said, yeah, okay, so we're going to do this on Monday. And is it easier for you to go home, come back on Sunday morning maybe? And then Mr. Suleiman says, no. I'm already here. It's Friday today. I'm just going to stay here, I'm comfortable here, if you don't mind. And Prof says, yeah, no problem, but it's just that, you're going to be charged today, Friday, tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, so you're going to be charged 2 extra days. You could just be coming on Sunday. And the guy said, no, it's no problem. Money is no issue, Prof. Everything's okay. Money gives you confidence. So, my prof was telling me later on as we left that he's changed. His voice has changed. His tone has changed. He's got this burst of confidence in his voice now. His posture has changed, even though he was in bed lying there. But I could just feel that he was confident and in control of his life. And I said, I also felt that, which is great, it's nice to see, people emancipating themselves, So anyway, Prof went. While I was prepping the patient, I was speaking to the patient. And so I asked the patient. The patient didn't know me, I had never seen him before, he had never seen me before. So I asked him, the nurse told me that, you won the lottery. He says, yeah, doc, I won the lottery, man. This is the best week of my life, man. Like I won almost, like I won $1 million, man. I say, $1 million? I say, yeah, it's like 900 and something, like close to $1 million. I'm a millionaire, doc. I said, hey, that's good, I'm happy for you, man. So he says, yeah, he's giving me a handshake there, like a high five type of thing, And so we talk. So then I tell him that, so I'm going to prep you, we're going to do this and that. An anesthesiologist will also come by your bed, ask you some few questions, And of course, there's the consent. The prof is going to make you sign. And he says, for the consent part of it, I want my brother to be part of the discussion, just to understand what's going to happen. And I said, sure, no problem. Where's your brother, by the way? So he says, my brother is at the BMW dealership. I think the BMW dealership? Yeah. He's buying us cars. He's buying us cars. Who's us? You? And he's buying, he knows the car I want. I already told him, so he's buying me a car and a car for himself. Okay, so I said, all right. So, but when did you win the jackpot? So the guy, he was keen on explaining, he was excited, and he says, hey, doc, you know what? I won the Saturday lottery. That was about $1 million. I actually don't remember if it was the full jackpot or part of a lesser jackpot. But anyway, so he told me you won the lottery, about $1 million. So he told me, hey, Doc, on Saturday I won the money. I realized that on Sunday when I checked my ticket. On Monday, I was at the ticket office before they even opened. I was there, and when they arrived, went into the office to claim my money. They confirmed my ticket, gave me some congratulatory messages. I was offered a basket of, I think it was chocolates and some stuff like that, And then I left. And then they deposited the money in my bank account, before I left the office. And they gave me some kind of a certificate to say that, I'd won the money and this was now, this was my prize. I left the office, got a message on my phone. It was a proof of deposit. It was a notification to say that about $1 million had been deposited in my account. I was flipping out. So I went to the nearest ATM to collect some of the money and get the receipt, and there was nothing. And my bank account was still showing nothing because I had nothing before winning the money. So I got worried, went into the bank, and then they explained that no, it's going to take 24 to 48 hours. So that was the same Monday. So I went back home, went back on Tuesday, checked my phone, my limit was still, I still had no money. Went to the ATM to check, no money. Went into the bank, so that's Tuesday, to complain, where's my money? The money was deposited yesterday. They said, no, it takes 24 to 48 hours. If it's not there today, by midnight tonight, it will be there. Went back home. Wednesday, sure enough, just past midnight, I had a notification that I had round about 960,000 USD in my bank account. As soon as the bank opened, I went in there to confirm. They confirmed everything. And so on Wednesday, I was now officially a millionaire. So that was the Wednesday. The same Wednesday, I bought myself a BMW M3. And I said, what are you, on Wednesday already? Wow, yeah. So I'm thinking, wow, BMW M3, today an M3 BMW is around about 50,000 US dollars, man. Back then, it was probably about the same, adjusting for inflation. So I'm thinking, wow, okay. And then he says, so I bought myself a BMW M3. And I bought myself some kind of, he mentioned another car, I forgot. It was, what did he say? For some reasons, he bought a van. Right? So he bought himself a van, So that's what he did on Wednesday. So Wednesday, he bought himself a BMW M3 and a van. I think it was a Volkswagen van that he said he bought, top of the range. On Thursday, he bought a house. So I was shocked. So I said, but man, when did you buy it? You bought a house on Thursday. He said, yeah, because I was living in my mother's place. I'm in my 30s, man. I'm unemployed. I'm struggling, so I needed to get out of the house, So I bought myself a house, and I bought a house in the Gardens. I said, oh wow, the Gardens. That's a nice place. At the time, I was living in the Gardens, So the Gardens was like this beautiful area of town, right, in the suburbs, They said, yeah, so I bought myself a house in the Gardens. I paid 350,000 US dollars cash. So I'm thinking, wow, we're talking about 17 years ago. He paid $350,000 for a house that was a 3-bedroom house. Was it a 3-bedroom, he said? Because he said a lot, he was eager to talk, so he said it was... No, he said it was a 4-bedroom house. So he paid $350,000 for a 4-bedroom house on Thursday. You know, I was thinking, I was getting scared now because I'm thinking this guy has won 960 something thousand. It's only Thursday, he's already forked out 350 for a 4-bedroom house in the gardens. He bought this M3, plus the van that he bought, so let's say $50,000, you know. So he's already down 400,000. And then he's going to need to buy furniture. So half the money is gone. And you know, so he's talking, and I'm getting scared now, and I'm getting a little bit anxious, you know. And then he says, "Yeah, so that was on Thursday, man. And now the same Thursday, I thought, you know, I need to fix myself up. So you know, I thought, okay, that's a great idea. This guy's thinking about his health, right? And so Friday today, I've come for my surgery." And I told him, "Yeah, but you told me that your brother is at the BMW dealership now." He says, yeah. So he's buying an M3 for himself as well. All right, he's buying an M3 for himself and an M5 for me. I said, "But you already bought an M3. I said, "Yeah, I always wanted to have an M5 as well, so I'm going to buy, you know." I said, why do you need 2 cars? He said, "No, you know what, Doc, you don't understand. I've been disrespected all my life. You know? And now it's time for me to show people what I'm all about. They're going to respect me now." And I thought, what do you mean you've been disrespected all your life? He said, "Yeah, people never really looked twice at me. People ignored me, you know. People, you know, they felt I was a nobody. And now they're going to realize that I am a somebody. I've got an M3, I've got an M5. And I told him, you know, like I told him, "Listen, my man, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a doctor. But you've had that money in your bank account officially on Wednesday. Around about $1 million. Today is Friday. Half of your fortune has been spent already. Yes, you still have half of it in cash in your bank account, but at that rate, you're gonna, in some few months, there'll be nothing left." So the guy says, "No, Doc, I know what you say. I know what you're saying, you know, but yeah, so these were just the expenses. I'm also I'm gonna renovate my mother's place." I say, "Oh, that's good. I'm gonna buy a car, you know, like, you know, a nice car, you know, not too expensive, you know, some top of the range Toyota, you know, something very nice, you know, very comfortable, you know, maybe like a 4x4 Toyota, you know, and I'm going to help out my sisters as well. I've got 2 sisters. I'm going to sort them out, and I'm going to sort the school fees of my nephews and nieces as well, and you know, and then the rest I'm going to invest." And I told the guy, "No, that's very nice, but like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but think about it this way. About $1 million has flown into your bank account. And you can approach this 2 ways. You can say, "Oh, I've won the lottery. It's free money. So yes, I've spent $500,000 already, but I still have another $500,000 that I'm going to take care of, you know, in terms of my investments and helping some family members. So when everything is said and done, I still have about $300,000 that I can use as investments." Yes, true. And that's a good amount of money. But the better approach is to think of it as you've just been named, you've just been nominated and elected as the CEO, or rather the owner of a hedge fund. Let's say somebody has passed away and has left a will to say that, I leave my hedge fund and all its money to Mr. Solomon. So he says, what's a hedge fund? I said, a hedge fund is like, I was telling the guy, a hedge fund is like a group of people, an organization that invest in, different ventures, equities, assets, properties, to make money. It's an investment group. He said, oh, okay, all right. So now, you've just been given that investment group. It's your business. You are the chairman, the owner, the sole owner. And you have $1 million in your investment fund. Your company is worth $1 million. He says, okay, doc, okay. So now that you have this company that's worth $1 million, you have $1 million of accessible cash, and your job is to invest this money in some equities, properties, or whatever it is to generate more money. You could buy a property for $100,000 in view of renovating it, improve it, and resell it for $120,000. You could buy stocks today at a low price in view of reselling them in 3 months' time and make a profit out of it. Your job is to generate income. And so that $1 million, you're not going to spend it. You're going to create more money. So the guy says, okay, yeah, I understand. That's a good idea. He said, yes. So now think about that lotto money that you've won. Okay, you've got some immediate needs. Take $100,000 for those needs. And take the remaining $800,000 plus and invest. The problem now is that you've been entrusted with the leadership, the care, the chairman of this company, your company, that's worth $1 million. You've got $1 million in cash to invest. That hedge fund was given to you on Wednesday, and today is Friday, and half of your money is already gone. How is that possible? No. So when I said that, the guy said, oh, wow, yeah, I said, I understand, I'm going to be more careful. And I said, yeah, just think about it this way. Now, I never saw this man again. The man had his surgery. The surgery went very well. He got discharged from the hospital, went on living his life. And then, I was told later on, because he had to come back for checkups, at 1 month, at 3 months, at 6 months, It's very sad, like within 6 months, he had lost all his money. 6 months. I mean, he still had the property, which is good. And I don't know what happened after that, after the 6 months. I mean, I was no longer in the hospital. And yeah. And that's very sad, man. That's very sad, And this story has happened to many, many people. You win $1 million, and if you're not careful, $1 million can disappear very fast. You win $10 million, and again, if you're gonna lose your mind, $10 million could be gone in a year. You could win $100 million and tell yourself, oh, I've got $100 million now, I'm going to book myself on one of Richard Branson or Jeff Bezos' trip to space, pay $20 million a ticket, and boom, you've got $80 million left, which is still a lot of money. But then, it's $20 million gone. It's a massive amount of money. And so I think if any one of you watching wins the lottery this week or next month or next year or at any time, at any point in your life, I think you have to remember that if you win the lotto and if you win, say, $1 million or $5 million or $10 million, tell yourself that, all of a sudden what it means is that your level of responsibility has greatly increased. You are now the CEO and founder of your own hedge fund. This man, Mr. Suleiman, who won that $1 million, he was in effect in charge of the Suleiman Investment Corporation. That money was not to be playing around with. And so if you win the lotto, if you win the lottery, of course there's some immediate needs, but I think if you win $1 million or $2 million or whatever amount you win, I think your immediate needs, meaning taking care of some, medical conditions that you or your immediate family members have, yes, do that. It's not going to cost you a fortune. Pay some debts, yes, do that. Pay off some debts, pay off your credit card, pay off your car. Yes, all that is fantastic because you're decreasing your debts. That's wonderful. Take care of school fees for the kids and things like that. Pay off all your loans. Already you're going to have that freedom, knowing that, you're walking on this earth debt-free. You've managed to pay all your debts, all your student loans, cars, home loan. You've taken care of all that stuff. So you're not buying anything yet, you're just taking care of your debts. And that's going to give you so much freedom already. And now, with the bulk of the money, tell yourself that, what? This is my company, this is my investment company. Let's invest and get some solid returns. You don't need to buy that luxury car that you've been salivating and fantasizing about for years. At least you don't need to buy it now. What's the hurry? Why take from your treasure chest? You can invest that $10 million and from that $10 million make 1% profit, and with that 1% profit buy the car of your dreams. Why move into a mansion? You can move into, in the case of Mr. Suleiman, he could have moved, the man at the time was single. He could have moved into an apartment, a very comfortable apartment, and buy an office for his company. Because that's the other thing, when you tell yourself that, okay, I've won $5 million, $10 million, so I'm now the leader of my investment company, why not buy an office space somewhere where you can actually retreat and do business so that, you don't have the distractions that you would have at home, because people are going to come, family members, friends, everybody would want to come and party with you now. You can say, no, I'm going to work, and you go into your office, you've got your computer, your laptop, and you do your research. Maybe you hire an accountant that you trust, or people that are in the investment world, and you've got a proper office. When you're scanning through potential investments and, you educate yourself, now you have the time, you learn about about investment, about property, about different assets, you know. You study, you have the time. You can wake up late if you want and study the whole day. Educate yourself. Take it easy. Don't touch that money. And then when you feel that you have the education, you know, at least the know-how of knowing how to invest and you know, analyzing the geopolitical situation of the time. What about the property market? Are we in a bubble? What's going on? You know, you have time. You have time to make some conservative investments and grow your money. Anyway, that's just a thought. Cheers.